All right. Oh, and I just got the notification that we went live, so I know that we went live and we're live.
Are we live?
We are.
When do we go live?
Unless you're watching this after 11:10. But then again, DJ doesn't know what the date is because he got the date wrong on last week's video.
This man didn't even change it. This man didn't even change it. He saw it and went right past it.
I didn't. I just saw it and let him know that he got the date wrong because I'm a good co-host like that. But anyway, we're back for our weekly WWE review of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So we will begin at the beginning, which is Raw, which began the week because it's on Monday. And as we all know, Monday is the beginning of the week. Unless you consider Sunday the beginning of the week, but there's no show on Sunday because there wasn't a pay-per-view. I'm going to get into Raw now. But I thought it was a pretty good show. I feel like both Team Raw and Team SmackDown for Survivor Series have that one member, or had that one member, we'll get to that later, who just doesn't seem to fit. Raw has Strowman and SmackDown had Baron Corbin. That just kind of were like, oh, okay, why? All right. But I did love Noam Dar debuting on Raw in his hometown, which was cool. But what confused me is why he was teamed up with a heel. He's a face, so why would you team him up with the heel in his hometown? It just didn't. It felt weird to me. Also, before the commercial, they kind of made it seem like Kendrick was facing Noam Dar, and then they were tag team partners. So I was like, oh, okay. But Dar was really good in the match, even though they lost. I like that he didn't take the pin though. At least he got that a little bit in his hometown where he didn't have to take the pin. But it's still, I wouldn't have booked him on the heel team. But Stephanie McMahon hit the heel heat real hard, trying to take an IC title opportunity away from my boy Sami Zayn. You don't do that, Stephanie. You don't do that. No, you don't do that to my boy. He ain't got enough opportunities, and you ain't gonna take this one from him because no. But anyway, I did like the backstage segment with Jericho, Owens, and Strowman. I thought that was kind of funny. One thing I'm not liking right now is not only are they changing the perfect gimmick Emma had, but they're basically using like photos from her Instagram. Basically, it feels like to promote Emelina. Like they're not doing any videos of her or any like promos or vignettes or anything. It seems lazy to me a little bit. I don't know how DJ feels about that, but I just don't like that they're changing her gimmick to begin with. And then another Cole moment, which, okay, honestly, it wasn't Cole's fault because it's scripted in the WWE, but I always have to blame Cole for something. He explained to us how the Survivor Series match goes because none of us know how an elimination match works. Thank you, Cole. Thank you for explaining how an elimination match works. I didn't know that people got eliminated. I had no idea. Thank you. Let's see. And then I was confused with the women's Raw team because I thought Bayley was one of the original 3 members, and then she was announced as the new member. I was just confused. I didn't remember. I was kind of confused because since when was Alicia Fox one of the original members. I thought it was Bailey, and I don't know. But we all kind of know how the women's segment went, where they had to edit out a majority of it because the fans were way too into Bailey and wouldn't let them continue with the segment, which I kind of thought that was funny. As for the main events, I don't know. It was just, it basically, I thought in the beginning it was just going to consist of Owens, of Jericho, Owens, and Rollins all fighting on the outside while Roman and Braun just stared at each other, because that's what it seemed like in the beginning, because they were just staring at each other for the longest time, not doing anything. But I don't know. I thought Raw was pretty good. It kind of ruined it a little bit that it wasn't live. I feel like anytime Raw isn't live, you kind of, even if you don't really notice it, you kind of know. Obviously, if it's in another country, it's not going to be live just with the time difference. But I mean, I guess it's a benefit to them in some ways, especially with the Bailey segment where they could edit out part of it. But then again, it takes away a little bit of the unpredictability of Raw and of a live show. But DJ, thoughts on Raw?
I enjoyed Raw. I liked that Noam Dar debuted this week. I thought that was pretty freaking cool. I wasn't expecting it. And that's what was really cool about it was, that I wasn't expecting it. I kind of do agree with you. Why was he teaming with Brian Kendrick and Sin Cara? This man forever in the tag team. It don't matter. It never matters who it's with. This man gonna be in a tag team. It's funny because he went from being in Lucha Dragons to basically being in the Lucha Dragons again. Now he's teaming with Lince Dorado. It's like basically the same thing. I was surprised that the Shining Stars defeated the Golden Truth. I was surprised about that to kind of take their spot. I like how they're doing that with the Shining Stars. I like the Shining Stars a lot. I do. I think their gimmick is annoying enough to get over, but then they push them for 2 weeks and they stop for a whole month, and then they expect us to care about them that month later. And I'm like, that's not how that works. Like, I like the Shining Stars a lot. Like, I like seeing them on Raw. I think they're hilarious with the whole pamphlet BS. But why, like, why not use them more? You're gonna push them like you did when they first debuted. Use them ever. That's the one thing I don't like about what they're doing with the Shining Stars is they're just randomly in the Survivor Series match because I'm supposed to be like, yeah, they're good. No. The Bailey segment was hilarious with the crowd just taking over. Charlotte was pissed. She was not happy. She wasn't happy. I didn't even think Bailey was happy after a while. Like, I think, at first Bailey was like, this is pretty cool. And then she's like, I kind of want to talk to you, though. Like, are y'all done? Are y'all done, though? But are y'all done? I enjoyed Sami Zayn versus Rusev. I didn't know who was going to win this because I always had that feeling in the back of my head that Rusev could win it just because of how they book him all the time as kind of the dominant guy. But then I was like, it would be cool to see Sami Zayn versus Dolph Ziggler as Survivor Series. That would be pretty freaking cool. So that's pretty cool. I like that. It is weird though that the Intercontinental Champion isn't on the Survivor Series team. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the Intercontinental Champion doesn't get to be on the Survivor Series team, but the U.S. Champion does. Like, okay. Because in my honest opinion, I would have rather have had Survivor Series be champion versus champion, not necessarily winner take all, but just for like supremacy or whatever. I think that would have been cool. Like, just imagine Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Just imagine that. But yeah, that was pretty much all. Kind of my thoughts on Raw. Obviously, Seth Rollins became the 5th member of the team. That was, I mean, I wasn't surprised about that. But it was cool to see him in Scotland. I always like to see how the foreign crowds kind of react to different things, and I enjoyed it though. I thought Raw was, it was actually pretty good. For some reason, I kind of enjoy Raw anyway. I just get excited for Raw. I don't know why, but I mean, to me, Raw still feels terribly long. Like, and I mean, it is, but like it feels long. Like I don't think the pay-per-views feel as long as Raw does. Now, albeit Raw has to build up to feuds and build up to this and that and this and that, but that's the only thing I don't like about Raw is that I think that's the issue with having it 3 hours is that it feels so long.
Yeah.
But good show. I felt like.
All right. Moving on to SmackDown Live.
This one, actually, it was live. I think because the name says so. It's got to be right.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. But anyway, I don't like, and I think both Raw and SmackDown are going to be doing this now with 4-person commentary teams. I think it's too much.
Who was on Raw's commentary team then? Who's the extra guy?
I think I heard something about are they moving Tom Phillips over to Raw?
Because Tom Phillips was on SmackDown.
Yeah, I think they're moving him to Raw. I don't know if they're going to keep SmackDown at 3 or if they're going to add somebody in there. Either way, I think 3 is kind of pushing it, but 4 is too much.
It's kind of hard to like get a word in if you know what I'm saying. Like when you think about it, like think about it when we do a podcast with 4 people.
Yeah.
Like we literally have to be like, Casey, go. Like it's hard to like if you wanted to butt in. You know what I'm saying? It's like really hard with more than 2 people or 3 people.
Yeah. But anyway, Otunga called Ellsworth the Chinternational superstar, and I hate him now. I hate you. I hate you so much.
That was the greatest thing ever.
Also, I don't know why I was surprised that Breezango was still a team, but I was like, wait, they're what? Wait a minute. It feels like they've been gone forever, and then they're just back with kilts on, and I was like, no, please stop. But again, God forbid the Vaudevillains or the Ascension ever get a win, ever. They will bring teams back just so the Vaudevillains and the Ascension can't get a win. Just
think about this, Casey. The Shining Stars or the Golden Truth were going to be in the match, but there was really no chance for the Ascension or the Vaudevillains. Just think about that. Just let that marinate a little bit.
Oh, God. Oh, why? I don't even want both of them. Just one of them, I would be happy. One of them. Just come on. But like we said on our video earlier today, a couple minutes ago, you can go watch it. It's about WWE trademarking names. I am curious about this new WWE 205 Live debuting November 29th. I hope it's something good and not just some trash that they have on for a couple weeks and then decide, nope, we're not going to do that anymore.
Obviously, Talking Smack can't be doing well, right?
Yeah.
Also, like, I don't even think do they do Raw Talk anymore? I know they did it once.
Yeah. Or Talking Raw, whatever it is now. But part of it, was what was making me think about it was, is it too much? If it is going to be another wrestling show, is it too much? I mean, we already, nobody really watches Superstars or Main Event. We feel like we watch so much just when we watch Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Now there's going to be another show. We're going to be dead. I think we like the extra documentaries and the breaking ground and all that other stuff, but I don't know if we really need another wrestling show. They just need to work the cruiserweight division better into the main roster show. If you're not going to be able to book it on the main roster show, you're not going to be able to book it on its own show. I don't know why WWE is trying to do this, but I'll give it a try. I'll give it a chance. Anyway, and then the Corbin match. The first time I saw Corbin fall off of the ring apron, I kind of saw it out of the corner of my eye. I wasn't really paying attention, but I legitimately thought he slipped and hurt himself. But then I watched it again on replay, and it looked just like a work, basically, which I didn't understand why they would book that specific spot. I mean, we already think he can't get in or out of the ring. Now we think he can't walk on the apron. Like, what's next? Is he going to trip coming down the entranceway? Like, bruh. This man can't do anything. But I like it. People were saying, oh, is Kalisto turning heel, attacking his knee? I don't necessarily think so. I think it's just him getting revenge. You know what I mean? Just payback for all the things that Corbin did to him. I liked it. I think it could definitely bring some interest to the storyline that was kind of getting stale for a while there. But I hated how they booked the women's championship match as the main event. Let me explain to you. If you didn't watch SmackDown, this main event was the third to last match. How is that a main event?
Better explanation. It was at 9:00.
Yeah. SmackDown goes till 10. So yeah. Even though, they cheated my girl at her title, I really did like Alexa in this match. And I could actually see them continuing this storyline with Alexa fighting the fact that her foot was on the rope and the ref didn't see it. I could see them, working that into the storyline. Hopefully they do, and they continue something with this, because I do want to see Alexa continue to be pushed and built up, because I think she could definitely. She's getting better. She's not as green as she was, and the heel gimmick is still awesome. But I hope they continue working with her on it and building her up. Daniel Bryan also is the greatest GM of all time, better than Mick Foley. This man, because Corbin suffered a career-ending knee injury, he was taken out of Team SmackDown and replaced by the great Shane O'Mac. Glasgow was hyped. I was hyped. The world was hyped. I honestly, I haven't seen a yes chant as intense as Glasgow was after they announced that Shane McMahon was the final member for Team SmackDown after Corbin was taken out. They were hyped. But also just kind of I'm definitely excited for this coming Tuesday. I'm going to be at the 900th episode live. We're going to be getting Edge is coming back. Undertaker's coming back. Also, AJ Styles was going to be defending the WWE title against Ambrose. Also, Kane will be facing Orton. So that's going to happen again.
The excitement.
Yeah. That might be him a bathroom break. I don't know. I love Kane. I love Randy Orton. I've seen them wrestle together 872 times. I don't need to see it live. I don't. I really don't. Um, but I'm definitely excited for that. Any thoughts on SmackDown? The down of the Smacks?
Yeah, I like that they're still incorporating Ellsworth. Just because I mean he's over, so you might as well. I know a lot of people are kind of, or some people at least, are getting tired of him. But I mean, rarely ever does a jobber really like this is kind of something that's different. You know what I mean? Like Ellsworth started out as a jobber, and rarely ever does a jobber actually, become something but still be a jobber. If that makes sense. Well, no, sickly, but it happens. um, so that's pretty cool that they're still using him. Um, yeah, I don't know what they're doing with the vaudevillains. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I have no idea. The Baron Corbin falling off the apron thing, bruh. Uh, I watched it. I was like, bruh. that was like just my reaction. I was just like, okay. The women's main events. Became, why? Like, dude, stop it. Like next, I was so confused because what were we doing at this point? I think it was picks. I think we were doing picks
Yeah.
Tuesday, and I was like, they announced it as a main event. It's 9 o'clock. Is this gonna be like an hour-long match or what's going on here? So I was confused about that. Good match. I was just confused on why they called it the main event. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, you can have more than one main event, all this, but stop it. Just stop it. Kurt Hawkins finally gets a real match. Thank God. And defeats Apollo Crews. It was still very short, but I like that he did get, actually get a match. Still don't like the Randy Orton Wyatt thing. Like, I like the storyline. I like that he's in the Wyatt family, but change the man. Stop making this man come out here with his coat on. And we like, that's different. It's not. Randy Orton's changed so much since he joined the Wyatt family. No, he's still wearing that black coat that he was wearing since he came back. They going it. Come on, man. Like, what are they doing?
Nah, it's different because he puts the hood up now.
Yeah, I guess. I just don't. I don't understand. Just change it, even slightly. Like anything. And then when Shane McMahon was announced as the final member, I was not expecting that. I don't know why, but I just wasn't. I just was not expecting Shane McMahon to be the final member. For some reason, I expected it to be like I expected him to like promote Ellsworth or something like. But that's pretty freaking cool though. I like it because it kind of like catches Team Raw off guard. Like Team Raw would have never expected Shane to be on the team, so that's pretty cool. And I kind of want to see how that's going to play out. They got Shane coming to Shane and Daniel Bryan coming to Raw on Monday. I kind of want to see how that's going to play out for the go home show. That'll be pretty cool. I wonder if there's going to be like a kind of counter challenge too, where like Stephanie and Mick come to SmackDown. I kind of wonder if that's going to happen too. But I thought SmackDown was pretty good. I liked it.
All right. Moving on to the N, the X, and the T. That wasn't live either. So yeah, no shows last week were live. It was sad. It was sad.
Except for SmackDown, because that's what it says. So.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. It wasn't.
The name says.
No, it wasn't. But anyway, I hated DIY versus the Authors of Pain because I did not want to see the Gargano and Ciampa lose, but also the Authors of Pain versus Sanity would have been an awesome finals. I felt like the semifinals just in general had me torn. On one hand, I really wanted to see, like I said, the Authors of Pain versus Sanity, but I also think Team DIY versus TM61 would have been an awesome match. I did love TM61 versus Sanity. I thought that was a really good match. But I think the outcome was a mistake. I'm just kind of confused now. Like what they had TM61 go over, so they're going to be facing the Authors of Pain. But what are they going to do with Sanity? it's kind of like I don't know what they're gonna do with them now. It felt like they were gonna have that epic battle, the two, big dominant, mystery teams. Um, I'm just kind of confused now with that. Um, and also that Toach relatable moment when the security guard who got powerbombed through the table from local Pennsylvania and Virginia indie wrestling promotions. I was like, yeah, I know him. I just thought that was kind of cool. But any thoughts on NXT?
Yeah, I was excited going into NXT because they're still doing the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic thing. I think they're doing a really good job of building everything. It feels like now, because I don't know why they have this weird, and probably because their takeovers are so far apart, but they have this like weird, like I guess grace period where they just don't do anything after takeovers. They've been doing this. I don't know why. Over like the past year, where they just throw stuff together. Um, and then like 3 weeks to a month later, they'll be like, okay, let's start building takeover. So now I'm excited. And I like, I like what they're doing. The whole uh, Sandy losing was just weird to me. I was just like, why? I thought that was dumb. I like TM61. I do. I like him a lot, but like you said, like I would have rather have seen the whole big mystery teams battle type thing. Um, and you can tell too with NXT, the crowd is just excited. The match doesn't even have to be good, but the crowd is excited about it, and that's what gets you excited about it. Like for example, you look at the Authors of Pain, and I know, like they're big guys, right? But like hypothetically speaking, you put the Authors of Pain on the main roster, no one gives two craps. But the Authors of Pain are, they're, I mean, and even if they are a mystery, like to a certain degree, no one's gonna give two craps today. And with NXT, like that's kind of what I like about NXT is like the crowd is just into it. It doesn't matter. You could take someone off the street and put them against Jobber number 2, or pull two people from the Performance Center no one knows, and as long as they build it correctly, the crowd's gonna be into it. And that's what I like about the NXT crowd. Like I know sometimes they try to take over the shows, sometimes they can get annoying, but I would rather have a vocal crowd than anything. Because I watched, it feels like I've watched a lot of wrestling shows where like I felt like I was watching a Japanese crowd. They were so quiet. And American crowds aren't supposed to be that way. Um, and I just like watching shows with the NXT crowd just because like they're just excited about everything. Like the match doesn't even have to be good, but they're gonna react to it, and that's what I like about it. And that's kind of something that's missing from wrestling today. I feel like just the crowd just sitting there because LOL. But yeah, like the Authors of Pain beating Team DIY. I like this match because it wasn't just the Authors of Pain dominating like they always do. Team DIY did a good job of taking the fight to them, which I really liked. And there was so many. There was a couple of moments where you could see where Team DIY could actually win, and I like that. I love Paul Ellering getting involved. I always like when he gets involved. For some reason, I never expected, but I do like when he gets involved. Um, and I thought that was pretty cool how he kind of got them to win the match pretty much. He kind of forced the hand and everything. And then TM61 versus Sandy. Yeah, I was upset about the result of this match just because I mean you've been building Sandy for the past couple weeks, and then you just kind of just pull the rug right from under him. And I know they won. They lost by leverage pin and everything, so it's like, oh my god, TM61 got the win, but no. Um, it would have just been like just imagine the buildup they could have done. Because when is Takeover's like in 2 weeks, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so they got a whole nother week to build towards that. Actually, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think it's next Saturday. So not this coming up Saturday the 12th, but the 19th. But yeah, like it was just I was upset about that. They could have built towards that so well. Like, we don't know a lot about either of these teams. There's no, like, and even Corey Graves like teased it. He was like, I don't even think I'll be able to, be in the arena to call a match. And like I don't understand why they didn't have Sandy lose. It doesn't make any sense to me. Because I mean, still they have the numbers advantage. There's no way they should lose that match. It's like maybe against the Authors of Pain they should lose because Paul Ellering's there, but like they have the numbers advantage. There's no way they should have lost that match. I think that was a dumb call. It just proves that they don't know what they're gonna do with Eric Young. And then the Nakamura Joe contract signing. I like this. I like how Joe kind of stayed outside of the ring. I like that they can. One of the things I love about NXT is the consistency. They continue to push the fact that Samoa Joe has something against William Regal / William Regal has something against Samoa Joe. And I like that they always push that. They don't push it every week, but like just every once in a while when Regal and Samoa Joe are in the same vicinity, they'll push that. And I always like that. I like Nakamura attacking the security guards. I don't know necessarily why he attacked the security guards, but I like it. It was kind of cool. It freaking made Joe go crazy, and I like that. I'm excited for just Takeover in general. It's gonna be good, and I like that Takeover is not like this year, because last year it was all based on the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which is fine, or not, but for the most part it was based on Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. But I'm glad there's gonna be an NXT title match. I'm glad it's gonna be a tag team title match. I'm glad it's gonna feel like the same show, but there's like a little extra wrinkle to it. And that's kind of what I like about it this year.
Yeah, I mean, as for the the finals of the Tag Team Classic, WWE could surprise us with some sort of big swerve or something where somehow Sanity and Authors of Pain are somehow teamed up with a huge faction, which I think if they worked it right could be cool. Other than that, I don't know what they're gonna do with Sanity now. I mean, I feel like that kills their push, their big debut, and because who's gonna really think they're unstoppable when they were just beaten like less than they haven't even been there for 3 weeks and they were already beaten. I mean, and not by a bad team. TM61 is a great team. It's just I feel like they were supposed to be booked as this dominant crazy post-apocalyptic sort of team that you're not you don't know how to beat them. You don't know they have their mind games, and you have Nikki Cross on the outside yelling, and you have Eric Young, yelling orders.
Nikki Cross struggling to take her coat off.
that too. But I mean, and two, NXT hasn't had that real big dominant faction, so that would be kind of cool. And Paul Ellering still could be kind of the mastermind behind it. But I don't know. I'm hoping they do something.
What if Sanity and the Authors of Pain join forces?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think that would be cool. I don't know. I feel like it kind of kills both of their big pushes, because either it's going to be a squash match where the Authors of Pain just kill TM61, or TM61 gets the win and the Authors of Pain look super weak. I don't think there's a good way out of this for WWE. Just from my opinion. But anyway, that was your weekly review of WWE, SmackDown, Raw, and NXT. All in all, I think it was definitely a good week. The 2 go-home shows were good. And other than the confusion with the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, I think the build up to Takeover is good. We already have a bunch of good matches, it feels like, on TakeOver and Survivor Series. So I'm definitely excited. Next week are the go home shows. My bad. But it was definitely cool anyway, seeing the crowd in Glasgow for SmackDown and Raw, just because that was the first time that Raw and SmackDown had ever been to Glasgow, which was kind of part of, I think, why the crowd was so hyped and so riled up, just because they haven't had a quote unquote live Raw and SmackDown there before, which was kind of cool. But I guess we'll see what happens on this coming Raw, and then the 900th episode of SmackDown, and then we'll see what happens on NXT. But until then, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video if you liked it, like the video if you didn't like it, share the video, follow us on Twitter at ICW_podcast, and we will see you on the flippity of the dippities. Oh yeah.